Thank you very much, Mr. Kimoko, Cabinet Secretary for the Sports and the Arts, Chairman of Collective Management Organizations, my fellow CEOs and colleagues from the CMOs, ministry officials who are here, my brother Edward and Harriet, all protocols observed. Good evening. As you've heard, I am Dr. Ezekiel Mutua, the CEO of the Music Corporate Society of Kenya. And in our arrangements, we do caucus with the other CEOs, and they have requested me to speak on their behalf. So, Mr. Kimoko, you are quite in order. Let me begin by thanking you, Waziri. We met yesterday at your invitation in your office, and we have followed that with this meeting today. And yesterday, Waziri, was one of the happiest days in my life because the pain that you talk about and the efforts towards streamlining the music industry to ensure that we get it right, that users of copyrighted musical works respect the creativity of our musicians and they pay for the same the way they would pay if they go to a hotel. And they listen to the music, they pay for the water and the tea and the mandazi, but they don't pay for the music. And Waziri, this journey that we are beginning is a journey that is going to help us. We thank you for taking lead, and we thank you for hosting us today, particularly with our chairs, because this means then the decision that we take are going to have the endorsement and the blessings of the chairs who are elected by musicians. In fact, Bwana CS, if I may just speak something about how the boards operate, the ones who are here are musicians, they are artists who are elected by the people that we are now trying to help. So the boards are not like staff. The boards are led by musicians who are or by the artists who are elected by the members so that they can come and represent them. Let me make a comment on something that Bwana Kimoko said. Royalties collected and musicians, it's a tired cliche, Mr. Kimoko. Let's correct that. Don't be singing it to us. We are really tired of it because it's a wrong fallacy, it's a fallacy and it's wrong because it makes it look like monies are collected and eaten. The business of CMOs is an ecosystem. There is the role of the artists themselves to produce quality music that can sell. All of us enjoy Jerusalem Challenge. All of us enjoy Diamond. All of us enjoy South Soul. If music is quality, it will sell. So number one is not because royalties are collected and eaten. It's because it's an ecosystem and we are fixing. And that's why, Waziri, I can say you've gotten it because this is exciting because you are telling us, let all the parties and stakeholders play their role. So the ecosystem requires, one, that the artists themselves understand the business of music. How does it work? What kind of music sells? And that requires a lot of sensitization. And Waziri, I dare say, we need your help. It's the work of the government, actually of Kekobo, to create awareness. The other thing is piracy has reigned supreme for over 20 years. We have had people's works pirated openly, and Kekobo, which is supposed to fight piracy, is only focusing on the micromanaging CMOs and wasting a lot of time. If you can agree that we fight piracy and we get the support of Kekobo and the ministry, Waziri, there is a lot of money. But these musicians are not suffering because CMOs collect money and they put it in their pockets. Because if we have not collected from matatu industry or public service vehicles since 2019, not 1 shilling, and that industry is using a lot of music. From hotels, I think compliance is less than 10% if you get the figures from PERAC. From broadcasters, less than 10%. And from the new media, in fact, we have not even had the framework working. From blank tape levy, we have not even implemented, even though that section has been in the law for the longest. So when you look at it, Waziri, it's an ecosystem that no one party will succeed without the other, which is why we are so happy that you have called us today. Waziri, let me finish by assuring you that on behalf of these CMOs, there is a commitment a clear commitment from our institutions, Waziri, for once to work with you, because we have seen your resolve. Where we have had differences, you have called us, we have been able to talk. And Waziri, this is the only way we can move this country forward, where we talk to each other, where we discuss issues. There are a lot of loopholes in the laws that are exploited by users to exploit musicians. And while this is a multi-million-dollar industry, multi-billion actually, and some of the richest people in the world are musicians, ours, most of the times, have to do fundraisers when they are sick, when there is a burial, because they are not reaping from the sweat of their brow. And the problem has been there is no cohesiveness, there is no coherence in the manner in which government works with the CMOs and works with the creatives. And I want to say the major impediment, and I stand to be corrected if anybody has been the regulator. And Waziri, if you don't fix Kekobo, Kekobo will continue to embarrass you, Kekobo will continue to mislead you, Kekobo will continue with the same narrative that Mr. Kimoko was saying, and it will never change anything. The truth of the matter is that Kekobo has failed, because the work of fighting piracy and sensitizing the public to respect use of music is the work of Kekobo. But instead, Kekobo wants to become signatories to account to private companies. Because we are private companies, Waziri. We are not parastatals. We don't belong to the government. We are stakeholders to help you, and we are committed. But if I was to be asked, you would do an overhaul of Kekobo if this journey is going to succeed. When these serious people that I brought here saw Mr. Sigei, we walked out actually. They wanted to leave the meeting because of the pain we have gone through with Kekobo. And this pain is not something that I'm maligning anybody. It is a pain that is known by everybody, because how could Sigei imagine on being a signatory to the accounts of private companies? How do we move forward when the regulator has reached that level where there is no respect even for the way we operate? This is a matter that we must discuss openly and hope that as we move forward now, because we came in the evening so that even if we spend the night here, if Waziri you have the time, we fix everything so that now we shake hands and move forward as friends. Allow me to end by saying we are committed, we'll work with you. We thank you for bearing with us, even for the things that I'm saying. I know before I wouldn't have finished the statements I've said with some ministers. We have been there. We have been treated badly. We have been maligned. And yet we have CMOs in other countries, some musicians in other countries who are reaping a lot of money, even from our country, while our musicians are suffering because there has not been proper regulatory framework. So, to outline, Kekobo's regulatory outreach must end with this meeting. We must be honest and speak to each other with the respect. And we must agree, if the law is bad because it has been mutilated 12 times, you know, there is no other law that I know in the industries that have operated. I've been at Kekobo myself for 7 years. I was rated the best director when I worked there. Waziri, the problem has been the regulator. We have our own challenges. We are ready to face them, to fix them. We are ready to do what we must do to ensure that we don't let you down. But Waziri, let us not bury our heads under the sun and assume that everything is okay. We are hurt when Sigei calls us like useless street people, and I'm not saying street people are useless, gives us a license on May, backdates it to January. What business is that? Why would you even give us a license for 1 year? How do I plan? Because wherever I've worked and I've gone to school well and for a long time, strategic plans take 3 years. So why would you be having a license for 1 year? And now even to make it worse, he gives it in May. Ours is dated May, backdated to January 1st. Impunity, cavalier attitude that should not exist. Waziri, allow me to say it as it is. You have a problem here. Fix it, or we'll keep coming here, we'll keep collecting nothing and distributing nothing.